Hello viewers, welcome to our lecture series of marketing management, and I'm going to extend our discussion on the topic of promotion mix. We have been talking about the steps involved in making our communication plan more effective and efficient. So we had already discussed the two significant steps of making your communication effective, and I would actually be extending my discussion on the same topic. So let me start with the third step, wherein we'll be talking about designing the communications, how to design your communications. Now, by now at this level, at step number 3, we are aware of our target market, that this is going to be my target market, and this is going to be my target customer, and accordingly I would decide my message. Now, it is time for me to decide or design the communications. So, we have to basically formulate the communications to achieve the desired response, which requires answering of 3 significant questions. When I am willing to achieve the desired response by the way of my communication, I must know that what are the components of those desired response. So, there are 3 important questions here which we need to answer. The first one is the message strategy, that what to say. It involves answering the question of what to say. Since I am aware of my target market, I am aware of to whom I am going to address, what am I going to speak to the audience, that is something which I should be confirmed about. I must have a confirmed or resolute state of mind where I know what to say. So, message strategy is the first question which we need to answer. What to say, I should know. Second is how to say. Having said how to say it, then of course I am indicating towards the creativity part of my communication, that while drafting or crafting my communication, my message, I should be creative enough. The way I am speaking, that should be the effective one. The way that those messages are being delivered, they should actually comprise of creativity, or you can say they should be blended with the creativity. And the third question is, who should I say it? Of course, the message source, that what is the source of my message. So, in all 3 questions, I am talking about the message only. I am talking about what should be the content of the message. There should be a specific content of that, there should be creativity into that, and also we should talk about the source of the message source. Who should say it? Who is going to become the face of my advertisement? Because in all communications, we are actually going to do it by the third party, by the person who is doing that. It can be a message source, it can be a print media, it can be the visual media, it can be the outdoor media, it can be online advertisement. So, who is going to communicate? All 3 questions we should answer. So, when I am designing my communication, I should first find answer to these 3 important questions. So, my dear learners, I am not only addressing you from the perspective of answering to the questions of the examinations, but also I am willing to let you understand. Suppose if you become the ad practitioner, there also this strategy is going to help you out. So, while designing your communication, you must answer these 3 questions. You must find answer to these 3 questions: what to say, how to say, and who is going to speak. All 3 things we have to decide. It is just like planning a program in your university or college. You have decided that there would be a speech of a person, this would be the content because occasion is this, and creativity is also decided, but who is going to be the anchor of this entire event? Who would deliver that address? That is equally important than deciding the message and also the creativity. So, my dear learners, we have to design the communication. This is going to be the design of my communication. Now, I will tell you about each one of them in little detail so that you understand. When we talk about message strategy, we have to understand what is there into the message strategy. So, in selecting message strategy, you should actually search for certain important aspects. Now, what are those significant or important aspects when we are selecting message strategy? We should search for the appeal, we should search for themes or ideas that will actually tie into the brand positioning and help establishing point of parity and point of difference. So, I told you that you are not there to simply tell the differences, you are there to tell them about the parity also, that we do offer the same quality, we do offer the same features what my competitors are offering. So, while selecting the message strategy, management is always searching for appeals or themes or ideas that must tie in to the brand positioning, and they must help establishing point of parity and point of difference. So, some of these appeals or ideas, they may relate directly to the product or service performance. For instance, if I talk about the quality of a product, the features of a product, the economical aspect of a product, or the value proposition with which you are entering the market. So, they can become the part and parcel of your message appeal. So, these appeals may relate directly to the product or service. There is no harm in doing so, that you are straight away telling about the quality of the product, the economy, or the value of the brand. And there can be other way also, they may relate to more extrinsic considerations. For instance, we actually in marketing we call them extrinsic cues, because there are two types of cues, intrinsic and extrinsic, and very often we feel that unless a customer is buying a product, he or she cannot have a feel of intrinsic cues. So, it is the extrinsic cues only which plays a significant role in making a decision or forming the perception of a customer for a particular brand or product. So, it can be the brand reputation, it can be the brand as being contemporary, popular or traditional, it can be store reputation, it can be price. So, these things can be there. So, not only the intrinsic but also the extrinsic considerations may also be be included, can also be included in the message when you are designing, when you are drafting your messages for that. So, this was all about message strategy, which means I am answering to what to say. What to say is decided, that yes, the content which you are going to deliver, and that content is based on either the features which are directly related to a product or service, or it can be the extrinsic one, that straight away you are going to tell about the brand, that yes, this brand is known for the quality, its reliability, its sustainability, and so on. So, you may decide, you may design your own message. Then second strategy relates to creativity. So, this is all about how to say, how you are going to speak, how you are going to communicate it to the audience. So, communication effectiveness actually depends on how well a message is expressed, as well as on its content. So, content is very good, but the expression is not proper. So, of course, that is not going to give you the desired result, that will not lead you to the place which you were desiring for which you have decided to float an advertisement, for which you are planning this entire promotional exercise, for which you are planning this entire promotion mix. So, if a communication is ineffective, it may mean the wrong message was used for the right one, or you can say it was poorly expressed, that expression was not that proper as it was supposed to be. So, how to draft a message, how to place a message, that is being taken care by the creative strategy. You have to understand how to say, and for that this creative strategy is playing a very significant role. They are the way marketers translate their messages into a specific communication. So, the soul of the communication is the message which they are willing to give, but yes, they are actually making it a specific communication by adding some creativity into that. So, we can broadly classify them as either informational or transformational appeals. So, you are actually, you have to be very clear, are you going to simply exercise an informational appeal, that you are simply throwing an information, or you wish to go for an appeal which is transformational in nature, which can transform the way customers are thinking about your product, about your brand, or whatever you are communicating. So, transformational appeal need to be the part of your creativity, and of course, creative strategy means you have to that have the potential of transformational appeals, that your appeal should be transformational. The third component of it was who is going to present the source of message, who is going to place the message before the audience. So there are number of researches which has been conducted to find that how to decide the message source. So they have shown that the source's credibility is very crucial to the acceptance rate of a message. So which source you are going to apply, which source you are going to resort to, that would decide the fate of the attitude of your customers towards a particular brand. So whether you will be leading to the desired place or not, that would also be impacted by the credibility of your message source. So it becomes very crucial for the acceptance of a message. So there are three most often identified sources of credibility, and they are called as expertise in that field, trustworthiness in that field, and the likability of your specific source. So expertise, trustworthiness and likability, these three things are very important, that when you are doing your communication, whether you are expert into that or not, whether you are having that proficiency in floating your advertisement or not, how proficient you are in that specific field, whether that particular product for which we are going to place an advertisement, that type of product have ever been dealt by this particular source or not, because that expertise is going to decide or define the fate of your advertisement. The second one is trustworthiness. The trustworthiness is something which is being earned by that specific message source over a period of time. So it describes how objective and honest the source is perceived to be, how objectively and honestly you have been communicating to the audience, because that would actually decide your trustworthiness, that actually determines the trustworthiness of a source. And of course the friends are trusted more than strangers or salespeople. So if somehow you have been able to create some brand advocates, you have been able to create the advocates for your particular source, then of course they are going to have a trickle down impact, they would actually become the influencers. So as it is always said that friends are trusted more than strangers or salespeople, nobody is going to rely on a salesperson who is coming to you for the first time and talking about a brand, because in the back of your mind there is a question, why should I accept, why should I rely on his claims? So here comes the role of the endorsement. So people who are not paid to endorse a product, they are actually viewed as more trustworthy than people who are paid. Because if you take an example of buying a property, whenever you are buying a property, there is a marketing guy and there is a office where you finally go for booking your flat, your property. So that marketing guy may at times they are making some claims which may not be the exact what you were expecting, what you understood from their communication. When you go for final booking, at times there are things which actually change. So at that point of time you realize that yes, the person was paid for converting the visitor into a customer, and here comes the role of people who are not paid. The reviewers, the views of those people who are not paid by the company, then of course their rank of trustworthiness is always on the higher side. So likability actually describes the source, the attractiveness of that particular source, which is measured in terms of candor, humor, and the natural behavior of a person. So naturally the person is going to react to a specific advertisement. So who is going to present your idea, that also plays a very important role. So in this way, my dear learners, we have understood the third step, how to design your message. So designing the message is discussed in detail so that you have a better understanding of how to design a message. So what to say, how to say, and who is going to say, these three questions are to be answered by you. Now once you have designed your message, the next step is that what is going to be my communication channel. So the fourth step is selecting the communication channels. So when I am going to select the communication channel, of course it is going to be an efficient means to carry the message, it becomes more difficult as channels of communication become more fragmented or cluttered. So, selecting an efficient means to carry the message, it becomes more difficult because channels of communication become more fragmented and cluttered. So, communication channels may be personal or it can be non-personal. There can be two ways. One is that your channel is personal, another is non-personal. So, within each category, that is personal and non-personal, there are many sub-channels. So, we should first understand what is the personal channel and what is non-personal channel. So, let us talk about the personal communication channels. Personal communication channels actually, they let two or more persons communicate face to face or person to audience through a phone, through a mail, or it can be an email, or it can be a surface mail. So, when I say personal communication, then of course it is between the two people. Two or more persons can be there and they are communicating face to face. So, what they are doing while making or while establishing their communication, they actually derive their effectiveness from that presentation which is highly individualized, the presentation which is coming in front of you as a communication, as a talk between the two or more people. And of course, the feedback also plays a very important, and it includes direct marketing, personal selling and word of mouth. So, if you ask me about the examples of personal communication channels, the best example for it is the personal selling or direct marketing. So, there is a salesperson who is coming to you and presenting his or her own views about the product. They are introducing the product to you and they start telling you about the qualities, features, services and whatever information they have, they actually communicate. At times word of mouth publicity also plays a very significant role, and they are also regarded as the part and parcel of personal communication channels. So, by now you must have understood that personal communication channel means when you are directly communicating to the customers, that is called personal communication channel. They actually, the personal influence actually carries especially great weight when the products are very expensive. When the products are highly expensive, risky, or when they are not purchased frequently, or you can say for durable products it is very significant. So, when the product suggests something about the user status or taste, there also the personal influence carries a very significant role. And that is why you would find that for high end cars, I am just giving an example, for high end cars, the high value cars, those brands, they are not giving their advertisement in the newspaper or in the television media. They are giving their advertisement for a limited purpose, that they are simply introducing the brand, and they have the specific people who can pay a visit to the place of the client. They would actually offer them, they would actually introduce the product to the customers in person, and they are there to clear their doubts, whatever is there in their minds. So, here comes the role of personal influence, the personal channel, where we have to be very cautious while sending the people, because that person is not only a salesman, that person is representing the entire brand, the entire company to which your brand is working as a representative. So to which your brand belongs to. So, it is an identity of that salesperson is basically working as an identity card of that specific brand or company. So, we have to be very cautious, and this channel is being used for the products which are of durable in nature, which are very expensive, they are not purchased frequently. So, you have to be very clear about deciding that when to use this personal channel. People often ask others to recommend a doctor. If you talk about the services, in case of services it is very important. People always ask others, their friends and acquaintances, to recommend a good doctor, to recommend a plumber, to recommend a hotel, lawyer, accountant, architect, insurance agent, interior decorator, or at times financial consultant. So, this is something which is going as per word of mouth, and here comes the role of personal channel. Here comes the role of the channel which is very personal, it is one to one, and they recommend, and you always rely on them, because you actually trust the person to whom you are asking, and on their recommendation, since they already had a previous experience of dealing with those service providers, then of course they can give you the genuine advice that yes, you should go for this particular brand, you should go for this particular person. So, if we have confidence in the recommendation, we normally act on the referral. Service providers, they clearly have a strong interest in building referral resources for that, and consumers, they are actually using word of mouth to talk about dozen of brands every day, from media and entertainment products. For instance, if you ask me about the TV shows, if you ask me about the publications to food products, travel services and retail stores, then of course the right answer is the personal channel. So the companies are actually aware of the power of this personal channel, and they also know they also understand the extent of the negative impact of this word of mouth publicity. So it can be particularly effective for smaller businesses with whom customers may feel a more personal relationship. So many brands, many companies, they are investing in various forms of social media to nowadays to get the word out, instead of newspapers, radio and yellow pages. So they have started investing in various other forms of social media, because there the customers are finding a personal connect with the person who is actually speaking about the product, about the brand. Now after this personal communication channels, we find the second one, that is called non-personal communication channel, which is also known as the mass channel, the mass media, what we call it as a mass media. So non-personal channels, they are actually the communications which are directed to more than one person at a time, and they include, if I have to exemplify, I would say they include advertising, they include sales promotion, they include public relations. So it is going to be a non-personal presentation, non-personal communication when we talk about non-personal channels. So non-personal channels, companies, they are searching for better ways to quantify the benefits of sponsorship and demanding greater accountability from event owners and organizers. They always ask about the footfall. When a company is going to provide a sponsorship to a particular event, they always demand for the greater accountability from the event organizers, that who is going to be the visitor, what is the target audience who is visiting this specific program, and what is going to be the footfall, the number of people who are visiting, for how long they are going to stay. So they are also creating their own events designed to surprise the public and create a buzz. So the time belongs to buzz marketing nowadays, and in buzz marketing, of course, the role of sponsorship, the role of organizing events, going to the public, going in public with your brand is actually like creating a buzz in the market. So many efforts amount to nowadays what you call as the guerrilla marketing or parasite marketing, or what you call as ambush marketing tactics. Marketing insight here plays playing tricks to build a brand. Actually you are here playing tricks to build a brand. It describes more clever marketing promotions that are out of the ordinary, that you are actually being very specific or being very focused towards your desired result, and for that you are planning everything. So this was all about the way we have to decide the channel, that what is going to be your personal, and whether you are going to select personal channel or non-personal channel. Both have their own limitations, and of course depending upon the type of product you are dealing with, the kind of customers you have to interact with, you would make a choice between the two, that yes, this is going to be my choice, I am going to make use of personal channel in case of the services. If I am a service marketer, then of course I will be using the personal channel. Otherwise non-personal channel is there, which is called as mass marketing or mass channel. The fifth step in this exercise is integration of communication channels. Now we have to integrate these marketing channels, because at times we are using both the channels, personal and non-personal. So although the personal communication is often more effective than mass communication, but mass media might be the major means of stimulating it. So mass communication actually, why it is so significant, because it affects personal attitude of a person and their behavior through a two-step process, and that is, ideas are often first flow from ideas often flow from radio, television or print advertisement at initial level, because customers are not aware of your product, your services, but it is the mass media which is communicating about a specific brand, about a specific product, and then eventually it percolates down to opinion leaders or consumers who are highly engaged with media, and then from these influencers it is coming to the general public, to the people who are actually forming the entire mass, or you can say the market. So you cannot ignore the power of this mass media, or you can say the non-personal channels, because they are the one who are actually floating the idea, and then eventually it percolated down by the influencers or the opinion leaders. So general public is receiving from there. So this two-step flow has several implications you have to understand. First is the influence of mass media on public opinion is not as direct as you are thinking, as direct or powerful and automatic as marketers have supposed. They have been thinking that whatever information I am floating, that would directly go to the customers. No, it is not that direct. It is actually being interpreted by, there is a proper step of selective attention, selective retention and selective distortion. So those three things we cannot forget, that customers are very selective with regard to their attention, with regard to their interpretation and with regard to their attention. So it is actually mediated by the opinion leaders. So I would always say that you have to integrate both of them. We call them media mavens, people who track new ideas and whose opinions others are seeking for making their decisions. So we have to understand that people interact primarily with their own social groups and acquire ideas from others in their groups. So we have to understand that there is an integration of both the ideas which we need to integrate. So mass communicators should direct messages specifically to opinion leaders and others who are engaged with media if possible, and let them carry the message to others. And here comes the role of Roser's innovation diffusion model, which says that whenever the new innovation goes down, there are only 2.5% people who are innovators, and these 2.5% people, they are the first one who are actually reading your advertisement. I will be telling you about the Roser's innovation diffusion model in due course of my discussions when we will talk about the other steps. I hope you must have understood these very significant steps of making your marketing communication more effective. With this, I am concluding this lecture of mine. Thank you so much.